So one of the things we're working with in working with the law is when we begin to work with the law, we begin to develop a creative edge. We begin to understand about how the universe works. It separates us from the masses. The masses believe that life is happening to us, that we are at the lowest level a victim of circumstances, or at least circumstances control our options. And so we check our news to determine what we can have and be and do. We look outside ourselves to measure what's possible, but having a creative edge changes that. We begin to recognize that this is an inside-out universe, that it isn't things that matter, it's what we think about things that matters. So a creative edge enables a person to navigate through life. They know when to stop talking and to listen, and they also know about the faculties that we have, one of which is you have a faculty called intuition. And when you learn to listen to that part of your intelligence system, you begin to have access to what Edison would call the land of the solution. That there is an access point in our brain is the switching station to the universal mind. We can begin to pay attention to and listen inside ourselves and hear a voice of wisdom that is beyond our rational understanding. A creative edge enables a person to distinguish between impulses and fears and intuition. So we're in a world that's changing. And instead of looking to a leader outside yourself, what we begin to see is that there is a leader that we develop inside ourselves. And there is in our world, one term for this is mass consciousness, or Teilhard de Chardin called it the noosphere, or the thinking layer of planet Earth. And if you put a thermometer, just like you put a thermometer in your mouth and you measure the temperature, or you set a thermostat in a room and you say, I want 72 degrees. If you were to take a thermostatic reading of the general frequency of planet Earth, and you can tell its frequency by what it broadcasts in its media, its newspapers, what most people talk about, it's generally fear, competition, and scarcity is what is the general broadcast that's going on planet Earth in general. Most people live in a world that is based in fear, competition, and scarcity. But there's another world here. There's another, just as if we were to change the channel from NBC to CBS, and the whole picture changes. When you begin to understand how the laws of the universe work and how you are part of that, and you can become aware of that, it's like, and for me it was like, I felt like I'd been living in a dark attic. And then I just found my way, and with some help, somebody who introduced me to these understandings years ago. And I was at that moment a very willing learner because I'd been diagnosed with a fatal disease. I was told that if I could have a surgery to remove my right kidney because I had kidney disease, nephritis. The other kidney, the test said it was 50% destroyed in active nephritis. And I was told that the best shot I was going to get was maybe 6 months. And that's a scary place to be. And so when somebody said to me, came into my room and said, you know, would you like me to, and she used the word pray, but what she was really doing was a spiritual mind treatment. She was helping me understand that I could think differently about the condition. I wasn't denying the diagnosis, but I could deny the prognosis. The prognosis did not have to occur. And at that point, I had no understanding about the laws of the universe. And she introduced me starting this way. She said, Mary, everything's created twice. And I know I had a confused look on my face. She said, everything's created twice. The bed I'm in intensive care when she comes in. The bed you're laying on, the nightgown you're wearing, the sheet covering you, all this machinery, the ceiling, the walls, the floor, it's all been created twice. First, it had to be a thought before it could be a thing. She said, you know this. Everybody knows it. You just don't know the power of knowing it. And then she began to work with me to help me realize that everything is created twice. And I had some things going on inside of me at that moment in the history of my life that was creating some toxic ideas about myself. And she said, if you think toxic thoughts, your body's going to get toxic. And she said, what if we saw this differently? And she helped me begin to see differently. And you heard me say early on that when you look at things differently, if you change the way you're looking at things, the things you're looking at changes.